"Go wait for me back by the truck," Grandpa whispered. I leaned against the front bumper and watched as he climbed a step ladder until he was nose to nose with the bees. Dozens of them crawled up his bare arms as he sawed the branch with a hacksaw. Just then a groundskeeper started up a lawnmower, startling the bees and sending them back into the air in a panic. Their buzz rose to a piercing whine, and the bees gathered into a tighter, faster circle. "Ah, damn it all to hell," I heard Grandpa cuss. He called out to the groundskeeper, and the mower sputtered off. While Grandpa waited for the swarm to settle back down into the tree, I felt something crawling on my scalp. I reached up and touched fuzz, and then felt wings and tiny legs thrashing in my hair. I tossed my head to dislodge the bee, but it only became more tangled and distressed, its buzz rising to the high pitch of a dentist's drill. I took deep breaths to brace for what I knew was coming. When the bee buried its stinger in my skin, the burn raced in a line from my scalp to my molars, making me clench my jaw. I frantically searched my hair again and stifled a scream as I discovered another bee swimming in my hair, then another. My alarm radiating out wider and wider from behind my rib cage as I felt more fuzzy lumps than I could count. A small squadron of honeybees struggling with a terror equal to my own. Then I smelled bananas. The scent bees emit to call for backup, and I knew that I was under attack. I felt another searing prick at my hairline, followed by a sharp pierce behind my ear, and collapsed to my knees. I was fainting, or maybe I was praying. I thought that I might be dying. Within seconds, Grandpa had my head in his hands. "Now, try not to move," he said. "You've got about 5 more in here. I'll get them all out, but you might get stung again." Another bee stabbed me. Each sting magnified the pain until it felt like my scalp was on fire, but I grabbed the truck tire and hung on. "How many more?" I whispered. "Just one," he said. When it was all over, Grandpa took me into his arms. I rested my pounding head on his chest, which was muscled from a lifetime of lifting 50-pound hive boxes full of honey. He gently placed his calloused hand on my neck. "Your throat closing up?" I showed him my biggest inhale and exhale. My lips felt oddly tingly. "Why didn't you call out to me?" he asked. I didn't have an answer. I didn't know. My legs were shaky, and I let Grandpa carry me to the truck and place me on the bench seat. I'd been stung before, but never by this many bees at once, and Grandpa was worried that my body might go into shock. If my face swelled up, he said, I might have to go to the emergency room. I waited with instructions to honk the horn if I couldn't breathe as he finished sawing the branch. He shook the bees into a white wooden box and carried it to the truck bed, while I reached up and checked the hot lumps on my scalp. They were tight and hard, and it seemed like they were getting bigger. I worried that pretty soon my whole head would be puffed out like a pumpkin. Grandpa hustled back into the truck and started the engine. "Just a minute," he said, taking my head in his hands and exploring my scalp with his fingers. I winced, certain he was pressing marbles into my head. "Missed one," he said, drawing a dirty fingernail sideways across my scalp to remove the stinger. Grandpa always said that squeezing the stinger between your thumb and finger is the worst way to pull it out, because it pushes all the venom into you. He held out his palm to show me the stinger with the pinhead-sized venom sac still attached. "It's still going," he said, pointing to the white organ flexing and pumping venom, oblivious that its services were no longer needed. It was gross and made me think of a chicken running with its head cut off, and I wrinkled my nose at it. He flicked it out the window and then turned to me with a pleased look, like I had just shown him my report card with all A's. "You were very brave. You didn't panic or nothing." My heart cartwheeled in my chest, proud of myself for letting the bees sting me without screaming like a girl. Back home, Grandpa added the box of bees to his collection of a half-dozen hives.